Right, so hello everybody. Thank you for joining us in this introduction to Zoom on behalf of ESRA. My name is Leslie Rose. I specialize in helping the over 50s with their tech, with their phones, computers, and problems like that. I hope you can all hear me clearly. And if there's any problems or if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat. I will see them as we go along and I will try and answer them at the same time, so we won't miss anybody there. All right, so with everybody here, we can start. So first of all, we're going to answer the first question that I usually get asked by my clients is, can I use an iPad when I'm using Chataway or with the ETP teaching? Now, today is a little bit combined of people who are using iPads, people who are using tablets, cell phones, or computers of various sorts. So I think it's best to start, and we'll clarify that point. If you're signing up for the Chataway, thank you very much to help. And you'll see that Chataway, you can use virtually any of these devices, whether it's a Mac computer, desktop computer, iPad, laptop, or whatever you see here, you can use. That's an Android one as well. If you're using it, if you're listening in and learning how to do it for ETP teaching, then the recommendation is that you don't use iPads and you don't use Chromebooks and you don't use tablets. Tablets. That's the Android version, simply because not all the settings are there. So you won't be able to get into all the settings as they require you to. And therefore you can't use those devices. Bit of a mistake from Chromebook, the actual Chromebook laptop type things, but they really are just super tablets or super telephones. Also, of course, cell phones come into the heading along with the tablets there that you can't use for teaching, but you can use for Chataway. So next page. Right, so you are all on Zoom, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking to you and you wouldn't be hearing me. So you've gone through the first stage, hopefully, of setting up your Zoom app on your computer, on your device, on your iPad. But let's just go through it again. To download the Zoom app, you need to go to www.zoom.us. That's the English version of Zoom. When you sign in, there is in fact an option for language, usually on the top right-hand corner, if you want to keep it in English, which I suggest. And this is the website that you go to. If you sign up, you need to go to the top right-hand corner here. And on the top right-hand corner, it says sign up, it's free. That's true, but only some of it is free. For free, you get up to 40 minutes of chat when you're speaking to more than 2 people. If you're on one-to-one, it is still unlimited. But if you want to speak to a whole group, as we are doing today, then you need the paid up version, and that's the one that ESRA is using now for this presentation. But normally 40 minutes, I would expect, is enough there. So let's just see here. When you go to the sign up, a little critical point there, it says sign up for free, and it asks you for your email. It gives you the option there also of signing in with SSO, signing in with Google, signing in with Facebook. Please, please, please don't sign in with Google and don't sign in with Facebook. And the reason is that if you sign in with those two, what you are doing is you are giving Zoom access to your Google, Gmail, and maybe other data, and the same with Facebook. So when you sign in, you need to put in your own email address and make up your own password, which I know is a pain, but for security reasons, it's certainly worth doing. Where it says sign in with SSO, that's a special security setting which you can, where you have a security key which enables you to sign into everything. I doubt very much if anybody here has actually got one, so I'm not even going to relate to that. But sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook are no-nos. That applies to any email or any internet site that asks you to sign up with Facebook. If you've already signed in with Facebook or Google, then it's worth signing out and redoing it, because you don't want them to have access to your Facebook content and to your Google Gmail content. Do you? Maybe you do. Let's see. The other question which always crops up is the date of birth. It does ask you, please confirm your date of birth. This is for two reasons. One is that it's a security number. It's purely a number, a month, a day, and a year. And if you have difficulty getting into Zoom at one time, or if Zoom is hacked, broken into, and details are stolen, then it gives you a way to verify that you are the owner of that particular password, email, and whatever. So you should really put in your own birth date, because otherwise, if that happens, and we hope it doesn't, if it does happen, you'll have a problem remembering which false date you put in. And the data doesn't actually leave your computer. I understand that it's kept on your computer for data reasons only. I notice I haven't started the video, which is rather rude of me. So that's me here. Okay. So here we have the verification one. You should then be able to download the Zoom client app, which is what they call their app, their little program that you put on the computer. When you click on that app, you will see this sort of square here, this entrance here, which gives you the 5 headings at the top. It gives you the time, the date that it actually is, a little bit of wording here, which I'll explain, and these 4 shapes here. I'm going to call them squares. They're not squares, but whatever they are, they're there, and I'm going to call them squares. Now, before you start each session, it is important that you go to the top right-hand corner. You can see where I've marked it with the red arrow here. On the top right-hand corner, you will see a cogwheel, which goes to your settings. And above that, you will see probably your initials. In my case, it's a picture, because that's what I put in to my settings when I was online. I put a picture there, but it'll probably have your initials if you don't put anything there. Now, it's that top one that you want to click on before every session. And when you click on that, it opens up a window. We'll make that a little bit larger so I can show you what's important. There we are. So in this window here, you see you've got your name, in my case, Leslie Rose, my email. It says basic because it's the free version, not the paid version. I'm using my own version for this to show you what a private version would look like. And you've got settings, available away, do not disturb. These are like the old Skype settings, and you'll see up here where my picture is that I have a green dot against it, so I'm available. I don't believe it blocks anybody from calling you. It's purely a notification. If they see your name on their contacts list, it'll give a green or red market to it. It's a bit of fun. You go to my profile, go down, and here is where it's important. Check for updates. This is the one that you should click on every time that you start a session on Zoom, because Zoom is notorious for shipping out and making updates without any rhyme or logic. It can come twice a week, it can come once every fortnight. Usually it's to add extra features. Quite often it's a security update where they've gone through the data, the actual text that makes up this program, and found a fault or a vulnerability. So it is worth, please check on updates. What will happen is that when you click on updates, a little window will open and it'll say, well done, you're up to date. Or it may say, well done, there is an update. In which case you click on the word install and leave it to do its own work. It takes a minute and a half usually to just update, and it will restart Zoom again with the new update. It may add extra features. in the majority of cases, we don't need those extra features. It's for commercial users, but you'll see that nothing will actually change visually, but you will see that it does need updating, and it's always good for security to update on that basis. Okay, so here's a very important one. Here's a very important point, and the point here is, let me just move that here. Here is a picture of me sitting there. Okay, it's not me. Of somebody sitting at a desk, supposedly in the best position to have a Zoom meeting. Now, let's go through the details one by one. So this first star is the chair, and that's probably the most critical one, is that you find yourself a chair for your session, which is comfortable. You're going to be sitting there with your client, with your pupil, probably for 40 minutes, if not more. And if you start, oh, my back's hurting, and oh, it's not comfortable, it's not good. So you want to find yourself a comfortable chair, preferably not slumping on a sofa, and you want to sit comfortably with a mouse if you're going to use the mouse settings, and the computer screen in front of you as much as it can be. So seat is very important. The second most important thing is the position of the Wi-Fi camera. Now, lots of different devices. You're going to be using many different things. This is supposed to represent an iPad or tablet. Now, the thing about iPads in particular is that they're rectangular, and the camera is actually right at the extreme, usually left or right-hand side, which means that if you have it horizontal and you're looking at the picture there, the camera will be looking at you from the side. So we do recommend that when you're using an iPad, that you put it vertically. You may rest it against a book. You can rest it against a bottle of wine, whatever you feel like, but use it vertically, and preferably at eye level. Why at eye level? Because if not, that camera will be looking up at you from below, and if you look up from below here, in my case, you'd see this little bit of baggy flesh. So it's not such a good picture. If you're going to be looking at the screen straight ahead, which is the best position, then the camera should be looking at you too, so that you get eye contact with your pupil, and they also can see how you form the words, because we're teaching language, aren't we? We're teaching a foreign language, and the secret of speaking a foreign language is that you know how to place your lips to be able to get the words out correctly. So this particular iPad is actually in the wrong position. It should be higher up. Now he's using a computer screen, and on top of the computer screen here, this is where the camera should go at the top. It's much less of a sin to be looking up at a camera than looking down. Do not place your Wi-Fi camera on the work surface, because once again, you'll be like that the whole time that you're speaking to the pupil. And once again, those people with laptops, usually laptops are going to be quite low. So once again, recommended to put them on top of a pile of books. I, in fact, use one of these cheap folding stools that you can get in Musalim and a lot of the cheap places, just to lift it up that little bit higher. The screen of my laptop is eye level. The camera is just above eye level, so it's comfortable for me to look at, and it shows my full face there. Now, this picture, which is supposed to be how you're supposed to be presenting on Zoom, is actually has a big no-no here, and the big no-no is the window. The problem is that the camera, which will be here or wherever, is going to be looking at you and also seeing your background. If you have a window in the background or a bright light in the background, the camera will average out the light, and you will find that your face will be in darkness. So once again, must be eye contact. Better to look at the mouth, the lips, how you're presenting the words, So if you have a window behind you and you have no option to change the place, then close the curtains, drop it down. All of these cameras work very well in low light rather than over light. So you'll find that your picture will be quite bold and quite strong. I'm sitting in a room which has a window in that direction, but apart from that, it's an artificial light up at the top here, which is showing, which is lighting this area here. So the camera knows to increase the exposure. It's not so clever at decreasing it to compensate for over amount of light. So we can click that one. The other thing that's here, of course, is the clock. And the clock there is to remind us that we have if you're speaking to more than one person, you have a 40-minute time limit. Now, it's critical. Why? Because you don't want to be talking and then cut off in the middle. And it really does cut it off with a razor edge at 40 minutes. So once again, have a clock handy, put your watch in the corner down here, have a clock on the wall behind the computer, have a clock handy. It's not good to be speaking and constantly checking your time to make sure that you're on time. So it makes it a lot more restful for you as the presenter and as the tutor to have everything set up for your best convenience. You can sit there, you can do the presentation, you can do the chat relaxed without any hassle. Okay, let's go back now to the app. Okay, so here's the app that we've downloaded. We've clicked on the Zoom symbol, which is on the computer, on the Zoom app, which is on your iPad, and we've got to this page here. So here we have on the left-hand side 4 of these little shaped things, which I'm going to call squares. And one of them is new meeting, schedule, share screen, and join. Okay. Now, join is when you want to join a meeting immediately. If you click on it, you put in the meeting number and the password or passcode, as they call it, and you will link. That's instead of using the hyperlink, which comes, that's the blue colored one, which came in the email, and I assume most of you used that. Going to the left, you have the orange one here, which is the new meeting. New meeting is if you want a meeting immediately, now, at this moment. You're going to open a meeting, you're going to invite somebody to the meeting, and it's going to be straight away. Schedule, of course, is if you want to schedule a meeting in 2 days' time, 1 day time, or whatever, and you want to send an invitation out for that meeting. So we'll cover these two are the two that we're going to cover mostly. Share screen, not relevant at this particular time because I don't think we're going to use it. At the top, we have home, which is the home page, which is where we are now and the page that it always opens up to. Chat, not going to use that. And meetings. These are the 2 most important ones. The meetings, which will be future meetings that you've made or upcoming meetings, and home, which is the first page that we're going to look to, right? So let's say we're going to have a new meeting and we're going to have it immediately. When you click on that, it opens up in a page like this. These are photographs, which is why I'm wearing a different shirt and seem to be frozen. This is opens up with a full page here, and it shows you what your camera is showing. Incidentally, I use this to check how my positioning looks before every meeting that I have. I go into the now meeting, I click it open, just confirm that everything is okay here, my shirt's not too creased, and everything is looking good. So here we have a whole list of what we call the toolbar here. And on the toolbar, starting at the left, we have Leslie Rose, because this is I was using my own personal Zoom. And this is very important that the person knows who they're speaking to with a name. It's not good to have iPad or Roses or whatever you want to put there. It should have your full name, because when you're speaking to people, They may, if you're in a group, they may want to speak to Leslie or the specific person. And secondly, we all have names, or majority of us have names that are not native Israeli, and you're speaking to Israelis, and it's not easy for them to remember your name, in the same way as sometimes it's not easy for us to remember Israeli names too. So you should put your real name here. You've got mute, which is the microphone control. I'll go through them again in a moment and open them up. We've got stop video. Here we've got security, which just gives you security information. Participants. In this particular case, you can see I have one participant because the photographs and the series was run with just myself there, so I was the only participant. We have chat. We have share screen, which is lit green at the moment. We have record, and we have reactions. Reactions are where you do thumbs up or clap or anything like that. Bit of fun, way to show appreciation, way to attract attention of the speaker. Okay, so let's go back and let's have a look at the microphone. I'm going to touch these as well. Underneath here, you see these are all the programs that I have on my computer. This is actually from my computer, not from the Zoom. And it shows here, I don't know if you can see, but there are little lines underneath some of them which indicate that that particular program is open. Now, I'll explain why that's important in a moment. So these are the programs that are open on my computer, and that's how they will show. So let's go and talk about the mute button, the microphone button. Okay, no questions coming up on chat, so we're doing okay. So here we have the mute. Okay, obviously the first thing about mute is when you click on it, it mutes you. Nobody can hear what you're saying. And nobody can hear the background noise of bottles of dogs barking in the background, or a quiet little chat to your person next door, next to, or anything like that. So that's why we request everybody to go on mute while we do the presentation. And we have mute here. And when next to the mute, you have an inverted V, which I suppose you could call an arrow. That arrow, when you click on it, opens up a menu. Excuse me a second. That menu, as you can see, I hope you can see it clearly, says select a microphone. And here you've got a range of optional microphones that you have here at the moment. So here we have, you see, I've been trying out different microphones, and it says Sana system, microphone, the camera. So the microphone that's picking me up now is the same one that's built into my Wi-Fi camera, which is up there. They're usually pretty good. Most Wi-Fi cameras come with microphones, and they tend to be better quality than a laptop microphone, for example. And if you're using a desktop, they may be the only microphone that you have, because desktops don't come with microphones. Then we go down and it says select a speaker. Well, once again, you have the option of external speakers, or you have the computer speaker. So you've got the options there. And this is the one that's important. Once again, this one says test speaker and microphone. If you haven't done Zoom for a while, then it's certainly worth clicking on that, because what that does is it opens up a page like this. Now, on this page, you can see we've opened up the settings. It says settings here. And we have general video audio. So we clicked on audio, we clicked on the microphone. And here it's opened up a selection of options here. The one is test speaker. So if you click on the test speaker button here, which I can't do because it's a photograph, but in your situation, if you were to click on the test speaker, it plays a musical tune, which you should be able to hear through your speakers. If you can't hear it, then you go to this section next to it. There's another little V, click on that and change the speaker until you get a speaker that you can hear. Now you can use headphones, you can use Bluetooth speakers, you can use plug-in speakers. If you have a laptop, you can probably get a speaker in your laptop too. It's up to you, and you set the volume according to that lovely slide here. Okay. If you're using and when you come to your microphone, rather, here's the microphone test button. When you do test mic, it will record your voice, and you can say Mary had a little lamb, she also had a bear, and continue with that one. And then after a second or two, it plays back the sound. And obviously the test is that if you can hear yourself speak, then the microphone must be working. When it comes to volume control here, normally you tick the automatic and it would adjust according to how it hears, so that your voice comes over clearly, as I hope mine is. Okay, here's a nice feature which they put on about 6 months ago, which is suppress background noise. Mine's on auto, and it's very useful because you have maybe neighbors who suddenly decide to hang a picture, or you have birds in the window, or you have sudden noises that happen in the apartment below, or whatever, and it does react, not super quick. It's got to hear the sound, then block it, but it's very good for blocking out background noise that you don't want to go. It's good if you have a fan or an air conditioner in the room that's noisy. It does cut that out, so you get a much clearer view. When it goes down here, everything else that it shows there is standard, so that you shouldn't need to click on anything else there. All right, so we're going out of sound, we're going out of the mic, and we're going to do the same thing with video. Once again, of course, click on the camera and it cuts out your video. It will show the picture that you have on your settings online, so it will either show your initials or it will show the picture. Maybe you saw previously, before I switched on video, that it was showing the ESRA ETV symbol on that, which is the symbol that we use when we're not using video. So once again, we go here and you have the same thing. It says select a camera. So here you've got the option of various different cameras, including the laptop camera and a couple of Wi-Fi cameras. And down at the bottom there, you go into video settings. Now, it also says choose virtual background. I'll talk about that in a second, in case you're curious. Okay, so here's the video setting. We go back exactly the same. It takes us back into the settings here. And once again, you've got general video. We went in audio last time. Now we're going into video. And on the video, you get the same question there. Which camera do you want? It shows a live picture here, which is quite useful to show what your appearance is like at the moment. Once again, it's a photograph, so it's still. You can choose a different camera. Maybe you've got a laptop and a Wi-Fi camera. Choose which one shows you best. You can choose HD, which sometimes makes a difference to the quality. Sometimes it's not noticeable. And original ratio, which normally changes it from a rectangular picture to a square picture. It's your choice. I don't use mirror my video, don't recommend that. If you mirror my video, I don't know, you can see my picture of live of where I am. That's my left hand at the moment. If it was mirror, of course, it would show this hand going up as my left hand. The problem with it is that the poster next to me where it says help desk 50+ would be reversed if I use the mirror feature. So if you have to show text, or if you want to show something that has a left or a right, then if you mirror my video, it gets very messy. So I would leave it, and people are used to looking at pictures, TV pictures, not just in mirrors. So I would leave it there. Touch up my appearance never does any harm. It gives a soft focus, a soft contrast, which is why you don't see any or not so many wrinkles and things on my face. And you can adjust that as you want. It's a soft focus button there, never does any harm. somebody there is not muted. Okay. So let's go here also, while we're in the settings, let's go down to background and filters. So I've gone down to background and filters, and here, Judith, please go on mute.
Then I can't hear you.
Please go on mute.
I can't hear you.
Okay, hold on a second. It must be your microphone setting in that case, because I haven't had any chats telling me that I can't. Let me just hold on a second. Can people do a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, so everybody else can hear me. Judith, please, Judith, it's your microphone setting or your speaker setting that's at fault. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's not at this end. I can't help you at this stage. Okay, so let me just go back to there. Okay, so here we are. We have here virtual backgrounds. Now, virtual backgrounds sometimes work, sometimes they don't. It's very, very dependent on the power of your computer. I've seen when setting it up for clients, I've seen some apparently powerful computers that are not compatible with virtual backgrounds. I know at least one person who had a Mac, where you'd think Macs were sort of great computers, and he couldn't do virtual backgrounds. So it's not applicable to all computers, and the computer Zoom is clever enough to only show you what's possible. So if you go into it and you don't see any optional pictures, then the chances are your CPU, your particular computer, is not powerful enough to do it. The one that appears on most computers is the blur, which is the one I recommend. What it does, it's so clever. What it does is it brings you into sharp focus, and your background is blurred. That's self-explanatory, isn't it, really? But you're in sharp focus. So it brings attention to you, and all your Cézanne pictures and your Rembrandts and things will not be on show to anybody who's looking at you on Zoom, and it just blurs it out. I would ask that if you have the option of using virtual backgrounds, that you don't use these two, one of which is South Sea Isles, and the other one is with Elon Musk up in the stratosphere, if not higher, because they're moving backgrounds, and that's very confusing and very distracting for teaching. For your own private ones, have as much fun as you like, but for teaching, it's not good. If you have all of those, you can in fact upload your own pictures. This is a fake picture that I uploaded, as is the background that I'm using today. So you can use these. Now, when it comes to studio effects in the bottom right-hand corner, or video filters, these are mainly for the kids, because you can make yourself look like a fish or whatever you like. It's the good fish. It's quite irritating when you speak to the grandchildren and they suddenly turn into fish or dinosaurs and things, but they love it. So, but for teaching, I don't think dinosaurs make very good teachers. So I would recommend the blur or none. Nothing wrong with showing your own house in the background there. Here you've got, once again, Mirror My Video, which we've already discussed, and a green screen, which maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. If your computer is powerful enough to do blur or any of these, then you probably don't need a green screen. I don't use a green screen. This is purely computer power in the background there. So let's move on from that. Okay, so here we're going to go, this one's good. This is participants. Now I've skipped security, because security, it just tells you what it is. It doesn't do anything. But participants is an important one for a number of reasons. First of all, you've got this little click here to the right of participants, and this says invite. Now, if you're doing an immediate video, and remember that we went in from the orange button, which is for an immediate use, so you can invite people, you can send an invitation. And if you go there, it opens up, I think I've got that bigger as well, there we are. It opens up this little window, and you can send an invitation to join you immediately using default email, Gmail, or Yahoo. Now, once again, I'm not a keen fan of giving any other program my Gmail access or I don't have Yahoo or anything else. So when I do it, I go down to here where it says copy invitation, and I click on that, and it then copies it the same as it does in Word. It puts the details of the invitation into the computer memory. You can then go into WhatsApp, email, your email program that you've got on your computer anyway, Outlook maybe. You can send it by Signal, you can send it by Telegraph. I've not tried sending by SMS, but you can paste. So it's cut and paste, really. It's copy and paste, sorry. And you can put it into your WhatsApp. And quite often I know people recommend that you send it by WhatsApp and email. The email is normally picked up by the parents, and the WhatsApp is picked up by the pupil because they don't check emails. It's not fast enough. So you can send it that way, the invitation. You can also do copy invitation link, which is purely the hypertext link. But then you'll have to write, hi Shlomi, please open the link. But it's easier to just send copy invitation, copy, paste, send it off, and they will receive it quite well. Here's the next page, which is the schedule. So we've covered new meeting. We've covered new meeting, and we're now going to talk about schedule. Right, so let's have a look at what schedule has to offer. If I click on the schedule button, it opens up a window which says schedule meeting, which is pretty logical. Now, topic. Leslie Rose's Zoom meeting is what it says here. Now, this is because the computer, Zoom, has decided that that's what I should call my meeting. I highlighted it in blue to show that you can delete that and you can put your own title there. All right, so you can put ESRA English meeting. You can put the guy's or girl's name in there for a meeting. Title it as you want, okay? So when do you want it to start? You want it to start, this particular one is set up for Sunday. If you click here, once again, there's a little arrow. If you click on that, it opens a calendar. You choose the date that you want it to be. Same applies to the time, 24-hour clock. So there's less chance of misunderstandings. And you've got whichever time that you want to set it for. Duration is purely a notification. It purely tells them that it's going to last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. It doesn't actually cut you off any more than the normal. It's purely to let them know. Now, if you want it for a recurring meeting, maybe every Monday for the next 3 weeks or whatever, you click on there, and then another window opens, and you put in it. You've got the option of saying every Monday or every Tuesday or every third week, every first week, the usual thing that you get in a calendar. Time zone Jerusalem, that's okay. Here's something that I think is important. Meeting ID. Now, if it was a business meeting, I would click on generate automatically. The reason is that each time you would have a meeting, it would give a different code. And that means that you are reducing the chance of anybody crashing into your business meeting, because it's like having a different key to each meeting. If it's tutoring, it's much simpler and much easier if you use personal meeting, where the number stays the same for every meeting. So if they have to log in week after week, then they use the same login. They can use the same personal meeting login and the same, here it is, the same password. Now they call it passcode. Not sure why. We'll call it password. So here is your password. So once again, you're going to have a personal meeting number and you're going to have a password. Now, you can change the password. You can click on it. The one that they always give you is something like P342D HIK. I don't know, something messy. But there is, once again, no reason why you can't change it. You click on it, it goes blue, and you put in your own password. You can put in your pupil's name there for his own password. And if you do a recurring meeting, these two will stay the same, so that he uses the same password each time without messing about, having to look for the password. Where did I put it? Where did I put the link? Makes life easier for all of us. Okay, waiting room. Today we didn't have a waiting room. A waiting room is when you log in and you're not hosting, but you log in and you get a little sign which says waiting for the host to let you in. You're kept in a separate section in the participant section until the host clicks on it and says admit all. Good when you have a whole crowd of people coming in, but in our case today it wasn't necessary. And as you'll be speaking to people on a regular basis, and you know who you're speaking to, and only a few people at a time, waiting room should be unticked. No need for it. Video on for the host, video on for participants. Look what we've got here. Calendar. Once again, they want our access to our Google Calendar, to our Outlook, or to other calendars. Well, I'm not going to give them that. So what I do is I click on other calendars, and then a page comes up where I can copy the invitation once again, and I paste it into my Outlook or into my Gmail, Telegraph, whatever, WhatsApp, and send it that way. So I'm protecting my own data and protecting my own privacy as far as emails go. Don't forget, at the end of this form, you have to do save. If you don't do save, it won't save, and suddenly you find that the meetings aren't there. So we do the scheduling, and this is the invitation, right? So what we've done is we've said other calendars, which is here, and then with other calendars, it shows the invitation here, right? This is your invitation to that meeting that we've just said. Leslie Rose is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. Topic, Leslie Rose's Zoom meeting, the time, the date, join Zoom meeting. It's got the hot link here. It's got the meeting number here and the password, Leslie. Okay. Now, once again, they don't give up. They say open with the default calendar. I'm going to say copy to clipboard. That's the invitation below that line. And I copy to clipboard, and that's the, then you go to your WhatsApp or Outlook or wherever, however you want to send the invitation to the pupil, and you paste. So here we've come back once again to the home page. And if we go up to the top here, you can see it says home, chat, and meetings. All right, let's click on meetings. Here's the meetings. It's now blue. So we're in the meetings section, which was in that app. Now here you can see that we have upcoming meetings and we have today's meetings. Now these obviously are not today's meetings. These are photographs of things that were prepared in advance. So we have here Leslie's Zoom meeting today, 11:25. Okay. And you have yesterday Zoom meeting. I've highlighted this one, and all the other Zoom meetings that I've had previously here. I've highlighted this one, and it's opened up in this window here. Now, this is very useful because this is the recording of that meeting. Now, when you have a meeting, you have an option, bottom right-hand corner on your screen there, which is normally labeled more, but it could also, you could also have a button that says record. And when you press the button for record, it gives you two options. You can either record in the cloud, or you can record on your computer, right? So you can record the session that you've just had with the pupil or will be having with the pupil. Useful because you can go over it prior to a meeting and just check what we went through last time so that you don't end up duplicating, or you may want to do revision. So that's good. And this is a past meeting that I did according to there yesterday. And I can, if I want, open it up here and I can do play and I can see exactly what happened, or I can just play audio, which is good enough because I can hear what was spoken. But you can do play and you can see here at the top, I asked for it to be recorded on my computer. And this is where the file is on my computer. C, which is the normal code for your own hard drive memory on your computer. Users, Leslie Rose, documents, Zoom, it opens its own folder, the date that it was recorded, the time that it was recorded, the name of the meeting, and I think this is the reference number too. So you will find that in your menu on your computer in documents. It's in the documents folder. You go to your documents folder on your computer, you'll find a new folder has been opened which says Zoom, and then you'll see the dates in consecutive order of all the meetings you've had, and you can go back and look back on different meetings as you want. You can also rename them if you use the same name. Here you can put here here Haggai's meeting or Haggai instead of changing it, so it's quite useful. If the meeting is for today, or when the meeting comes up, because we said we scheduled meetings for the future, then what happens is it appears here on the leading page because it says Leslie's Zoom meeting. This is today's meeting, and it says today's meeting starts in 16 minutes at 10 o'clock to 10:30, and that's the thing. And when I want to start it with the pupil, I just click on start. So this is where it will show details of where today's meetings are. And on a PC, you also get a reminder, a little window that pops up at the side, which will say start meeting with the details. Normally it's about 10 minutes before the meeting actually begins. Okay, so I have a question here, which is, I know how to send invitation to email. How do I send this in WhatsApp? That's from Karen. You simply cut and paste and you post it into WhatsApp. Obviously you'll need WhatsApp on your computer. And WhatsApp on your computer is WhatsApp web, not difficult to do. And your computer mirrors WhatsApp on your computer. And you can you can call me later, or we'll speak later, and I'll show you how to set up WhatsApp on your computer there. So that you simply copy and paste it into WhatsApp the same way as you would into your email program on your computer. So that's how it notifies you of today's meeting, plus a little window that pops up here normally 10 minutes before to tell you. So it's quite well organized. If you don't have any meetings, of course, it'll continue to show this one, which is no upcoming meetings today. I put the red line round, but it says no upcoming meetings because I didn't set any at that particular time for upcoming meetings. But if you have a meeting, then it will show on the list here, and you've got the start button. If the start button doesn't show, you put your cursor on top and then you'll see it appearing. All these computer programs are very clever at concealing information until you put your cursor in the right place. So don't despair, just put your cursor in there and suddenly you'll see start will appear like magic. Okay, so we've done participants. Here we go. We're going to look at chat now. Chat, I would imagine a lot of you already know about chat, but there's one little thing that's maybe worth mentioning. When you've got your chat screen open, as here, first of all, you click on it to open it. And then I get a lot of people who say, Grace, I opened it. How do I close it? You know, because it doesn't have a close. Well, it's one of those secret buttons here where the V is, that tiny little V to the left of where it says chat. You click on that, and one of the options is to let it float, so you can move the page anywhere around the page here if it's blocking something, or you can just close it. At the bottom here, where it says to, right? It says to everyone, and that's the way it's set for. It should be set for everyone for today. And if you have a number of people here, depending on the setting, you can change the settings so that it will allow you to send chats to individual people. I have to say that when I'm doing a presentation, I set it so that you can only do it to everyone, because then if you put a question in, then everyone knows that question's being asked. Otherwise, you tend to get the same question asked 3 or 4 times because they can't see that somebody's already asked the question. So anything I post here, and you type in there the same as with WhatsApp, anything I post here will be visible here and is visible to everyone. Let me just check the chat. I also need to set up on my laptop also. Okay, maybe I'll try and do a video and put it up on my website to show how to do it, or we'll do another presentation. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's a procedure, but it's not difficult. Okay, so that's one of the things here. Remind me at the end. No, I can't show you. Okay, we'll see if we can do a different video or something to show you how to do it. Okay, everyone. And then here you've got various settings that you can just click over to have a look at. But that's the most important thing, is that it's set to everyone. Anybody who posts here, everybody sees it. And that neutralizes any chance of duplication. Okay. Here's the most important one of all, because especially if you're teaching English, is you will need to do share screen. And this is the one that gets the most questions from everybody. So we go down here, and there's the share screen button. If you click on that tiny little inverted V again, that arrow, you will see that you have the option here of one participant can share at a time, or multiple participants can share simultaneously. You may have a section where you want them to show you something and you want to show them something. So you can put multiple. Once again, normally it's one participant can share at a time, because it prevents any accidental clicking on the button there, and then you suddenly get various other things appearing at the same time. That's that one. And just check the chat there. I would imagine, let me just go back there. Okay, I have a question there. Let's go back. Okay, I have a question here from Pamela, who's asking if most students will know how to use WhatsApp, will know how to use email. I don't know. Email is very slow for the younger generation, but then so is WhatsApp nowadays. They're all into TikTok and everything else that is instantaneous Signal and Telegram, where they can delete their messages and whatever. That's why, you know, you need to think about how to do it on Telegraph and Signal. As far as I know at this time, there's no way to put Telegraph or Signal on your computer. So you're stuck with WhatsApp. But I would recommend that you send to the parent as well as the send to the child, so that the parent can follow it up, or teacher maybe can be followed up with a reminder. And nothing does any harm. They all know how to go into email. It's whether they bother is the problem. So I would follow up with a phone call if there's any doubt, and just confirm that you know that he's looked at the email for the link. Make that part of the terms. It's a good point. Okay, so we're here with share screen. We click on share screen, and this is what appears. Now, let me make that a little bit larger. Here we go. So here you have a page all full of various different things here, which can be quite confusing. These are the programs that I have open at this particular time. And it's important that you understand what I mean by open. When you open a program on your desktop, it opens full page. On the top right-hand corner, you have 3 symbols. One is an X, which will close it. I'm going to just make a point. If it's in Hebrew, it'll be on the top left-hand corner, not the top right-hand corner. But if in the corner you've got the X next, which will close the program, next to it is a square which makes it full screen so you can see it at its largest, and next to that is underscore, is a little line at the level of the bottom of the line, and if you click on that, the program is open, but it's dropped to the bottom of the screen. Now, if I go back, you can see here on this picture here, I have all the apps that I have open on my computer. That's the toolbar at the bottom here. And I don't know if you can see clearly, but on some of them, I have an underline, which can be blue on some computers, it can be white. So you have the symbol of the program, and there's a little line. You may see it as being a little bit of a lumpy border between black and white at this point, but it shows with a white line underneath, which means that the program is open, but reduced to the bottom of the page. These are the programs, the ones with the line underneath, that are going to appear when you click on screen sharing. So here I have, for example, a PDF, which happens to be my inoculation certificate. So I have a PDF open, I have my browser open, which by mere coincidence is my website. And then you have the password manager, which is very important for keeping passwords. I have my calendar, and you see the symbol here, the icon on the right shows that it's Google Calendar. Here are my folders. I think it's my documents. Yes, it's open on a Zoom folder, I can see here. Here is the screen. There's a picture that I have in Paint, which is a graphics program on Microsoft. And here is basically, it's this program. Here it's got the screen, the screen that I'm showing or was showing at the time I took the photograph. And to the right here, it says Whiteboard. Now, Whiteboard is what you will be using if you're doing teaching, not Chataway. I don't think it's used for Chataway. I may be wrong, but you'll find that out with the advanced, the next lesson that comes along. It will tell you. And here my iPhone and iPad. So basically, these are the symbols that are open. And if you want to share screen, what you do is you highlight it. This particular one is highlighted. And then you go to share, which is bottom right-hand corner here. Now, you can also double click on the picture here, and it will open up as a screen share. Okay, so there are two ways to open it, but that's all I'm going to tell you about screen share, how to access it, and how to make sure that the program that you want or the picture that you want, this is a picture from my computer, the picture that you want or the document that you want, if it's a PDF, is visible and ready for screen sharing. Okay, share button here or double click. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot, and I hope I haven't confused too many people here. I'll check the chat here. Okay, I know how to get into a meeting, but how do I let my pupil into the meeting? How do I know that the pupil is waiting? Well, he'll appear on the participants. First of all, you have to open when you have opened it, you click on the participants channel and you'll see him suddenly appear, his name, and actually you'll see him visibly because you're not using the waiting room. His picture will appear and you'll say, oh, hello, and he will be there. So that's very simple. You don't normally, with that setup, you won't have to do anything. Okay, and to share Google or Chrome images, as I showed, you have to make sure you're on the image, have the program open, and then it will appear on your share screen. I hope that's answered that question. Okay, here's the next one. Two more things, two more items, and there is opposing corners, and they're both quite important, really. One is top right-hand corner, very tiny lettering usually, it says view. This view you can click on and you get the options of whether you want gallery view, whether you want the pictures to be down as a strip down the side, or if you only want the speaker to appear. Now that's on a computer, that's on a PC computer or Mac. On an iPad, you only get 2 choices, and on some Androids, you don't even get that. You don't get a chance. Now, once again, it should be here. It's tiny. It says view. And right next to it, by the way, is a running clock that, once again, is quite small, but usually that appears, doesn't appear on some iPads, but that's one way you can keep track of how long you've been speaking and how long the meeting has been going on, right? So view is important, so you can see who's taking part. The other thing is in this corner, and I'm going to come back to it because I've already mentioned it once, but I'm going to mention it again, and that is Leslie Rose. It's important that you have your correct name in there. If you want to alter it, you can go into the participants, click open the participants. It will list the people who are taking part. And to the right of it, you will get the option for more. And when you click on it, one of the options will be change name. This is useful if you have 2 different people using the same computer, maybe you, your wife, your husband, your partner. You're both using the same computer, so you will want to change the name depending on who's there, right? And that's in the participants. It's the easiest way to change it. You click on that, it opens up the list of who's in the meeting, and then it has more to the right. You click on it, and one of them will be rename. When you click on rename, the name that's there is blue, and you can type in your name for that particular session, and the next person can revert back to their name. So I think we've covered that. Okay, so we've come to the end of this just over an hour session. I hope I haven't confused too many of you, and I hope I've been able to clear up a number of questions that you had, and will enable you to carry out your volunteering, which I really appreciate, which we all really appreciate, to help the help people to speak English better. And I'm going to now stop sharing. Hello, everybody. And nice to see everybody here. And I'm just looking down here. Lovely. Everybody's got their name on it. There we are, you see. So I didn't need to mention that, did I? Well, if somebody changes, I suppose you'll change your name. Thank you very much for... Menachem is disappearing. He's modest. He's not showing his camera, and so is Judith. I hope Judith could hear us in the end. So thank you very much indeed. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send an email or send a contact there. I can see Ross has got that South Sea Island virtual background there. Okay, everybody else seems to be in Israel. So if you've got any questions, please send me any questions. Yes, you have. Okay, hold on a second. You have to unmute. Let's see if I can do it from here.
Just your email, please. And I'm at 8 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here, US.
Oh, you're in the US. Okay, good morning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this screen off, and you will see the presentation, and there you've got my contact details there. Does anybody else have any questions? I can see Ross has got a hand up. You have to unmute. You have to unmute because I've put everybody on mute. That was beautiful.
Has this been recorded, and if so, can I get a copy of it?
Yes, it has been recorded. If you contact Anat, she will be posting this presentation onto the ESRA website. You will need to know what the exact address is, and there is a password. In addition, I will be posting probably this one, or maybe the one I did yesterday. I'll be posting it on my own website as well, which will appear in a moment when I put that thank you screen back up, so you can see it there, and you're welcome to look at it as many times as you like.
So I'll go on your website and
fine. You'll see the address. It's helpdesk50plus.com. It can't be easier, can it? Simple guy. Yes, Karen, how can I help you?
You said that you'd help me with downloading WhatsApp to the.
I'll tell you how
laptop?
to. I can tell you how to do it. All right.
Okay.
You need your phone, which has got WhatsApp on it, and you need the computer. Okay, on the computer, you go to Google or a search engine and you put WhatsApp web in. It will take you to WhatsApp web, and WhatsApp web will take you to a page where there is a QR code. Do you know what QR codes? That's those horrible square things made up of lots of dashes, and they seem to be they seem to be very trendy at the moment. On your phone, right, you need to open WhatsApp, and depending which version you have, you go to chats, and I've tapped on, let me just see, I've tapped on calls, and the top right hand corner has 3 dots. When you tap on those 3 dots, that's these up here. There are 3 dots when you're on chat. Okay.
Yeah.
When you tap on the 3 dots, one of the things listed is linked devices. It's changed from how it was previously. It says linked devices. When you tap on linked devices, this page comes up, and you tap on link a device. Right? I have to unlock. My phone has locked itself, so I just have to unlock it. And then you get a picture, right? And this is in fact a scanner, and you hold it up to the computer, as I'm holding it up to the computer now, and you'll see there's a little square on it. I don't know if you can see the square. Can you see there's a square in the center? You focus that square on the QR code that's on your computer, right? And then what will happen is the computer will start going, you'll see it go around, and then you'll get a copy of your phone on that page for your WhatsApp. All right, it will show a WhatsApp page, exactly the same, very, very similar to the WhatsApp that's on your cell phone. Now, what you have to remember is it's not an additional WhatsApp. It's not an additional WhatsApp. It's a mirror. It's a copy of the WhatsApp on your phone. So your WhatsApp, your phone has to be near your computer, switched on. Doesn't have to be on WhatsApp. And it's good that it's on the same Wi-Fi network as your computer. And then it will copy. And anything you do on WhatsApp online will show up on your computer, on your phone, because that's what you're doing, really. It's just mirroring. It's not actually a different WhatsApp. I hope that's clear. If there's any problem, drop me an email, send me an email, and I'll try and write it out again, or see how I can put a video together on the website to show how to do it. They've changed it, so it may well be a good idea to do that. Give me a day or two. All right. Any other questions? No? All right. So I'm going to go back and share this screen, which I will leave up for a few minutes, which shows my website and email and a picture of a computer. And if I can help anybody, please let me know. Here comes the screen. Right, so you've got there my email, the website, and my cell phone number. Okay, so you can send me a WhatsApp if you're overseas. You can, whatever you like there. So I'll leave that up for a few minutes, and then I'll close down the session. And I thank you very much, A, for volunteering to help ESRA with their sessions, and B, for having the patience to listen to me talking for an hour. Thank you. Closing the session. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everybody, especially 9 o'clock in the morning. Go and have a nice cup of coffee. Thanks, Ruth. Bye.